I did want to talk to you about something first. We saw this movie. It's called Love and Time.
No. Why is it so hard for you?
I cannot remember the name of this movie to say.
We Live in Time.
We Live in Time.
With Andrew Garfield and Florence Pugh.
Yeah. Talk about it. Did you like it?
There were elements.
I'm going to make you later.
There were elements of it that I really enjoyed.
Mm-hmm.
Our oldest son had an interesting takeaway from it today. When he was reflecting, he watched the last half of it with us, which he said was sufficient to get the gist. But I thought the acting was phenomenal. They're both great actors.
Agreed. Yes.
It was well done. It was.
I think it was an A24.
It was A24. Yeah.
Production was good. The acting was good.
But essentially, it was a story of two people's relationship, just told in a weird order.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought too. On my Letterboxd, I put something like that. It was a mediocre plot, it was a vanilla plot.
It was a very vanilla plot
that they just chopped
that they
up.
tried to be cutesy with moving it around, but there wasn't a reason for that. But I'll tell you what our oldest said. Jackson, you allowed to use his name?
I'll beep it out.
He said that to him it felt like this was the husband reliving the memory of their relationship, and that it would jump around, and that you wouldn't remember all of the details of the little fights or things like that you would remember kind of the big stuff and the little sentimental moments. And so I was like, okay, if you look at it through the lens of maybe this is just what he's remembering about their story, but
yeah, I don't know. But the two things for me are, A, they didn't establish that. That's
no,
not the real case.
That was his prediction.
And then B,
that's why.
Why would he be reliving all the moments that were really bad for him?
I know. I mean, I think just like you would think back about your life, you're going to remember the not so great times. But you and I were complaining that this big thing happened where she really messed up, and that would be a huge deal in a relationship. Mm-hmm. But they didn't focus on it at all. It just cut to next scene, he's supporting her. He's there. He's cheering her on. And it's why would they not show more of that? But Jackson was like, well, I think that's his memory of it. Of we had this big blow up argument, but what mattered was that, we were together and I came through, whatever. I don't know.
So how many, we need a cool rating system. I don't want to say thumbs up or heart or something. How many cigars do you get? I don't know. I'm making something up.
I don't know. I don't think I would rewatch it.
Okay.
But it was entertaining. So maybe 3 out of 5, whatever.
You're nice.
Icons.
I think I gave it 2.
I mean, I understand, but I like both of them, especially her.
They were phenomenal.
And so I think that's it, is their acting was great. I believed them as a couple.
And they had British accents where they talk like this all the time, Governor. Hello, Sydney, Sweeney, I love you. Come here, darling.
Speaking of things we need to bleep out, that was an assault on the ears. But yeah, it was nice to hear both of them in there.
You're talking about assault on the ears. I had this thought about last week's podcast. Do we need music? Opening music, closing music?
Maybe something simple.
You want me to do it with my mouth right now?
No,
I can do it.
Well, no. I think... No, I said no. I said no. I don't think it's necessary, especially not that. No, I think it'd be nice to have some sort of very short jingle that's
with the arms wide open.
No, that's not what I was thinking. Okay. Just at the beginning of the movie Grease, where the little secretary hits the xylophone, boom, boom, boom.
Oh yeah, it's like an NBC chime.
Yeah, something like that. Maybe that's oh yeah, that's the podcast that I listen to, and then something that goes the other way. Just maybe play them in reverse.
That sounds more like the Millionaire theme.
Yeah, that's
Millionaire,
the outro.
The lights come down.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay, well, let's think
lots of sound effects in this episode.
Maybe we'll throw some in this.
Oh, maybe we could use a little bit of our wedding songs.
Yeah, it's a little
romantic. I mean, that's what this is all about, writing a romance novel. Yeah. Maybe we could just use a little piece of that.
Oh, yeah. I'm Matt.
Instrumental.
You're Andrea.
Oh, hi.
We have to talk about that.
Welcome to our next chapter.
That's right. We picked a
named
name.
it. We named it. It's our
happened.
next chapter.
We even have an Instagram now.
We do. You should go follow us on Our Next Chapter podcast.
Nope. Close.
What? It's what you said. Oh, Our Next Chapter pod.
Pod.
Just kidding. Rewind. Don't go follow Our Next Chapter podcast,
That's our
whoever they
competitor.
are.
Oh, I hate those guys.
The neighbors that we fight.
They're the ones
no,
that
we
made
were.
that Love and Time movie.
Oh, it was them? Yeah, maybe.
Whatever
They're
it's
out
called.
to get us. But if you go to Instagram, look for at Our Next Chapter pod
Yeah.
is our handle.
We gotta decide what we're gonna
Follow
put up
us.
there too. We're doing more work on the podcast in the podcast.
That's true. Well,
That's
that's the whole thing. We want you here for the
Part of the
process. So
We'll
come
figure it out.
along with us. Maybe you'll go follow us and there won't even be anything posted.
Oh, there will be.
It's very possible.
Let me take a picture of you right now.
No, thank you.
Put your shirt back on.
That's not funny. Okay.
I think today, though, we talked about this a little bit. We want to start talking about what style of story we want to tell. Like
Mhm.
what
The
direction,
plot.
what's the vibe, what's the plot, right? Like just a general plot in the sense of what direction are we moving. And so pulled together a list here that we've got. And we're going to kind of chat through
Yeah.
maybe.
Yes.
And they're like 10 of the common romance premises.
Would you
Right.
call them tropes or like what's
Tropes
the-
are a little pejorative, but yeah, basically. They're
Okay.
tried and true. They're the things that give you warmth and
Mhm.
safety when you start to watch or read a book,
Yeah.
right? And you're like, oh, this is getting bad, but you're like, I know it's going to come back around.
I enjoy these like when I'm on Book Talk, like on TikTok. There's
Mm-hmm.
the whole side of TikTok, Book Talk. And I love when people review books or they try to get you to read it or tell you why they liked it or didn't. They always talk about these different like premises or tropes.
category.
Yeah, and like there's like all these fun abbreviations and something I want to talk about in future episodes is like book culture. Like it's so
Mhm.
cool, especially with social media and Book Talk and author events and all the things. Like I want to talk more about that because I've been getting more into it and learning about it. We've gone to a couple author events together. And so I think it'd be fun to talk about like all the ways that people promote books, like
Mm-hmm.
not only like publishers and authors, but also just like people who read them.
I mean,
and
we're going to
share
have to
them.
get there at some point once we
I
have the
know.
book. Give it
Our next chapter pod is going to have all of these abbreviations.
That's true.
And you, listener, are going to be in the know about what all these things mean when we say like an MNC or a enemies to lovers.
You know, I saw one today. I was reading an article.
Does that mean you watched a TikTok?
Saw a TikTok, and it was a STEM romance. I thought that's really interesting.
I have a favorite author for that.
You know what I
kind of
mean?
stuff.
Like
Yeah.
it's very specific, which is
Yes.
that's interesting to me.
I love Allie Hazelwood. She's a PhD, and yes, the love hypothesis, which I have a note about because it fits one of the tropes today.
Oh, we'll hit me with that.
Yes, it's a good one where it's a girl is a PhD candidate and ends up in kind of a fake dating scenario, but it's
Mhm.
also like a grumpy sunshine dynamic. So I'm kind of
Yeah.
jumping in, but
Please.
I just love it because as a biology major and self-proclaimed nerd, I love all the sciencey stuff in it and the fact that it's this like really smart girl working in a lab and trying to get her PhD and like pretty cool. So Allie Hazelwood, if you haven't read
All right,
one of
Pat.
her books,
You think it would
recommend-
require us to do a lot of research, even more research than we're already going to do?
of what?
I don't know. Like, let's say they're a cardiologist,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
You have to research. Yeah, no.
Not that
Once
I'm not
again,
going to.
This
but,
was not an Abby Jimenez fan cast, but
okay.
she does a ton of research on her stuff. And so
That's
I
true.
always love it because she writes about like real issues and her newest book coming out in April 1st.
Right.
Say You'll Remember Me has a veterinarian. And so, you know, me, I used to work as a vet tech in high school and college. And so I loved reading it because you could tell that she'd really taken time to understand what the goings of a vet's office are like. And so we got lucky to read an advanced reader copy.
Mm.
There's one of your
Fancy.
little anagrams
You're right,
or
I haven't got it.
acronyms.
Ooh.
What are they called? Acronyms? Yeah, an advanced reader copy is an ARC, and I was lucky enough to get picked to read it. So I've already read the book, and it is spot on as far as a veterinarian and a fantastic book. So
And that's,
April 1st,
you know what?
2025.
I think that's also, is that a good example of our enemies to lovers? Where they kind of start off confrontational?
A little bit. There is a little bit of confrontation in the beginning of the book, which I don't think we could talk too much about.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's the first on our list of tropes, or what do you call them? Premises.
Premises.
Is an enemies to lovers. The ones that I wrote, one was another Abby book, is Yours Truly, which is my favorite of her books. And that starts off with Dr. Jacob Maddox, and he's this new doctor in this hospital, and he just has a horrible first day. Like all his patients die. The nurses dub him Dr. Death, and he's just not getting a good reputation. And so the female lead in the book, Brianna, she kind of perceives him to be this grumpy guy. He kind of seems like an enemy because she's trying to get the chief job, and thinks that he's trying to encroach on that. So that's
you
an
just
example.
said the grumpy thing, and a lot in my research for some of these tropes, I realized that they cover 2 or 3 of the different ones.
Well, I mean, I think that's realistic.
That's realistic.
Because people aren't
Plus, you can't have a 6,000-page book on one enemy to lover.
Yeah, I know for sure. It's like
the one I wrote
multidimensional.
For that was one of your favorites, is How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
Oh, I do love that. Benny Boo 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 Boo. Our Love Fern. That's such a good movie. Yeah, no, I'm a big rom-com girl. I mean, just all around. Books, movies, TV shows, all the things. But yeah, that's a fantastic movie. Another
that's a good one for us, though, too.
Oh, what?
Enemies to lovers.
Yeah, I could see that.
I feel like it's a easier dynamic. There's some tension built in.
Yeah.
It's a good propellant for the story.
We don't like to fight, but I like what my grandma used to say. She said sometimes you just got to clear the air. And I like that. Like sometimes we just have to have a good discussion to clear the thing.
You really like our air to be clean.
Yeah, oh, whatever. But I think like an enemies to lovers could be fun because I like the tension in the beginning of it. But another book, because I also want this to be a podcast of recommending great books, is Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score. It's actually a series, but the first book in the series is called The Things We Never Got Over, Things We Never Got Over. And it's an enemies to lovers as well. And man, it starts right out the gate with this dude like just busting in and yelling at this girl, and she has no idea why she's getting yelled at, and like it's pretty intense, and he is pretty yeah. It's good with the enemies to lovers, but yeah. So what's an example if we were to
do enemies to lovers?
Yeah.
I mean, I wrote down the How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, but there's also like another example that I found in the research was this idea that there's a rival bakery owner and they're forced to collaborate for like a wedding ceremony.
Yeah.
You know, like man and woman own their own bakery and they have to come together because they have a shared best friend or something, you know, but they actually dislike each other.
Forget Me Not by Julie Soto is very similar to that. A florist and a wedding planner, event planner. Yep. Another recommend.
That's interesting.
Okay. What's next on the list? What's another premise?
One of the other premises was fake dating, which is
was
kind of interesting. We've read a couple of books like this ourselves. And the one that I kind of wrote down was Anyone But You. It's a more recent example. The City Sweetie, Len Powell one.
That was a good one. That was a good, like, I felt like rom-coms had kind of died, and then that came back. That was, like, such a good, like, class with rom-com. It was really good. That was a cute one.
Good one.
The book example that I wrote is called The Paradise Problem by Christina Lauren, where a guy and a girl were, like, fake married in college to get student housing, but then they had divorced, and he shows up, like, 5 or 10 years later, I don't remember how much longer, needing her to come with him to continue to pretend to be his wife for this.
We started to read this one, I think.
Yeah, we started it together. Well, we went to an author event.
Oh, yeah.
The author. So they go by, it's two best friends, Christina and Lauren, that write under the pen name Christina Lauren. But we went to an author event here in Dallas at Half Price Books last May when they released it, and got to hear them talk about it and answer questions about some of their other books and their writing process. And so that was really good and interesting. But it involved a fake dating scenario where she has to go to this, like, his family is essentially like the Walton family that owns Walmart, but like a fake family, that they're like billionaires. And so for him to get access to his trust, they have to be married for so long and all this. So she gets to go to this like wedding for his sister on a private island, and just, you know, kind of a fish out of water thing too.
I do like fake dating.
Yeah,
I'm interested in that. That's a fun one because it's another one that creates tension. And it's fun. It's fun, right? Like,
yeah,
because
it's
as a reader, you're on the
you're
inside.
like in on the
You're in on the thing.
in on the gist of it. But yep, that's a good one. Something to keep in mind.
It could be a good scene too, like just a section, right? Where it doesn't have to be the whole thing. Because we've read a couple of books where it's a good majority of the book where they have to fake date, they have to pretend that they're not together, they're not in love, they're not yada yada. I like that one. I'm gonna put a check mark next to that one for now. What else do you have on your list?
Another one you have listed is Second Chance Romance, which this one was interesting because I haven't read as many books with this like premise. So it's like former lovers or childhood sweethearts reunite. I do like the idea of this.
I've got one that we watched together, a movie, Ticket to Paradise with George Clooney and Julia Roberts.
Oh, yeah, where they were the parents
and
of their daughter.
They loved the daughter on the island
or whatever. Yeah, that was a good one. The book I wrote that I've read that I kind of had this was Summer Romance by Annabelle Monaghan. This was the first book of hers that I read, and I loved it. I love her writing style. I also love that she is really about like female empowerment and writing books about like in her little newsletter when you first subscribe and you get her intro email, she talks about how she writes books about women who save themselves and who are like figuring it out because she is that woman and she's been through that. And so anyway, Summer Romance was a really good book about this woman's journey, like post-divorce and as a mom and all this, but she kind of reconnects with a childhood friend, or actually her best friend's like little brother that she hasn't seen in forever, and he's part of it. But I really also like that wasn't like the key part of the book, wasn't necessarily the romance. It was more about this woman's journey.
Yeah.
So I like that. But I like the idea of second chance romance, and I feel like when you and I first started talking about writing a book, this was kind of one of the things that we talked about. Is maybe
definitely one of the things we talked about.
Yeah.
And you know, the simplest explanation example for this is like high school reunion. People getting back together for their high school reunion and falling in love, right? That's second chance romance.
Yeah.
But I wonder if second chance romance can also mean like re-falling in love.
Yeah, that's what I feel is more closely to what we originally
talked about
with a thought of like a couple who's kind of grown apart and then trying to reconnect. So it's like maybe a second chance at the relationship you're already in. I like that. I like that idea too.
Okay. What about another extremely popular one? Friends to lovers. We did enemies to lovers.
That's our story. We did friends to lovers.
We did?
25 years ago.
Wow.
Yes, we were best friends. And then you finally realized what a charming person I am.
That's true.
You came on board
with us.
Yeah, so we're friends to lovers. That's a good example. Another Abby Jimenez book like this is Life's Too Short, about this like sexy lawyer guy who owns this building that this lady's living in, and she is unexpectedly like fostering or parenting a child that showed up to her door that was one of her family. I'm trying not to give too much away about the plot because I want people to read these books, but he is kind of helping her and they spend a lot of time together because she had a very a life where she was traveling a lot. And like I said, I don't want to give too much away, but they're friends and then they kind of start to develop feelings for each other. So I also do like this one. It's
on the movie side, it made me think of When Harry Met Sally.
Oh yeah.
Friends to lovers, you know.
Gosh.
I mean, I guess they were enemies to friends to lovers, I guess, like in the very early on the road.
Not necessarily enemies. She's just like annoyed by him, but man, that's such a good, fantastic movie.
They redid for the Super Bowl this year. Do you see that?
It's
pretty fun. Who's watching the Super Bowl if they keep doing these older things? Are they talking to me?
I think
I feel like I'm younger.
They're targeting us, and
I feel too seen.
It's so good. But yeah, so Friends to Lovers, it's near and dear to my heart because it's my own story. So
that's true.
That's a good chance to make it into our book.
Let me write that down. Where's my pencil? Okay. What about something like a forced proximity? We see that in a lot of these things too. Like
characters stuck. Be careful talking into that wall because characters stuck together in a way that forces them to interact. We actually use this in teaching.
Okay.
like teachers, you walk around, and if a kid's not interacting, you stand near them, and the forced proximity kind of gets them to like answer questions or engage. So that was where my mind went initially. But what movie did you think of?
I have here Lost City, which I don't think you saw with me.
Lost City?
It's maybe you did. The Bullock and Channing Tatum, where
she's
like protecting him in the he's protecting her in the woods.
There's no way I would have let you go see a movie with Channing Tatum in it that I didn't also.
What do you mean?
What do you mean? He's a great actor.
We're about to go from lovers to enemies.
It's an actor of our generation.
Yes, just like the End of the World movie that you did. That's
I vaguely remember that movie, but
it's kind of one.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like people stranded during a snowstorm. They're locked into a place, or let's say some stairs get demolished.
Oh yeah.
You know,
you're naming all the Abby books, because the one I had as an example is also an Abby book. The Stairs Getting Demolished is The Fall Risk, which is Abby's like novella that just came out for Valentine's Day.
This is so good. Abby fan.
I know, but I just love her so much I can't help it. And I've read her books like 3 times in the last year, so all of them repeatedly. But The Friend Zone, her very first book, is a forced proximity where there's a bride and groom getting married, and their maid of honor and best man meet, and so they didn't know each other before, and so they're kind of like forced proximity because they keep having wedding events and things where they have to be, so and that's how they kind of get to know each other.
Forced proximity is kind of interesting to me, like from the writing side, because it forces you to kind of be in a capsule. You know, it makes you, whether it's 2 people locked in a amusement park for the weekend and they can't get out, or if it's, oh my gosh, the bank's getting robbed and we're locked in this vault until the police come and get us.
Yeah.
Like, there's such a nice, simple stage play.
Like a bottle episode. Yeah. Where you're just like, this is where we're going to be. Yeah.
The cruise ship would be another good example. Like you keep passing the same people on the cruise ship, Like,
I just realized in this moment, though, one thing we can't do in the book, because I hate it, and I hate it about movies, is when you think it's going one way, like this person is rushing to get to the airport because they're going on a trip to Paris or whatever it is, and then there's an accident or they get snowed in or whatever. That really
and they never
drives me crazy. I'm like, but what about Paris? Like, I hate those movies. And it's one thing when it's like it's a plot point like midway or 3/4 of the way or something in the movie, but when it's like you hooked me in the first 2 minutes with this is the world, this is what we're doing, and then you change it, is infuriating.
Oh, no.
So we will not do that, dear reader. There will not be that in our book.
Okay.
Because I hate it.
Let me write it down. I'm gonna slip one in there.
No, absolutely not.
I'm gonna slip one in there for that one.
Let's move on.
Okay.
Beyond forced proximity. The grumpy sunshine dynamic.
Yeah. Yeah, the one I wrote down for that was Beauty and the Beast. It's an easy one.
Oh, yeah, that is.
I'm trying to think of these very, open ones.
I already talked about it in the beginning, but The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. That's the one with it's kind of like she needs a boyfriend situation. She decides to kiss the first guy she sees, and it ends up being this other PhD guy who's like gorgeous, of course, but also known to be like super grumpy, just kind of an asshole, a-hole. So we allowed to cuss on this?
Sure, we can. We just had to.
We had decided that. I don't know. Do I want it to be? I mean, I guess so. If we're talking romance, might be spicy discussion.
Yes, and I guess the follow-up question I was going to have to you about that grumpy sunshine dynamic is: do you prefer when the guy is grumpy or the girl is grumpy?
I mean, I think the trope is that the guy is grumpy. I just read one that was similar, but it also kind of goes under one of the other ones. It's like office romance stuff. But The Beautiful Bastard, or I think it's just called Beautiful Bastard. I always want to put a "the" before the titles. By Christina Lauren, where he's like the boss and she's his intern that's in a master's program or something. But I think that's what's typical. But you think of something like, and not necessarily a rom-com, but Devil Wears Prada. Like, I mean, how iconic is Meryl Streep in that role when she's the grumpy one? So to me, I kind of like the twist on it where she's the more difficult, like harder nut to crack.
There's also, I mean, when we talked about friends to lovers or enemies to lovers, there's a lot of that in there too, where they have to start on opposite ends. And
but I shy away from it a little bit because kind of like we talked about in the beginning, like humans are so multi-dimensional,
right?
So I think it's kind of unfair to be like, she's the happy one, he's the grumpy one.
I think grumpy could mean a lot of things, right? Like we talk about some of the books we've read and things like guys just being shut off, not necessarily grumpy, but just closed off, or they're, they got to come out of their shell. They have to, they're getting over divorce, or they're,
I think a lot of times too, it depends on the narrator of like, I really prefer like a dual narration book where each chapter, like I think a lot of times there's a lot of assumptions made about the guys if they're the grumpy ones because we're not getting their perspective and we're not getting in their heads. But I really like the books when we do get in their heads because that's where you realize like
there's motivation.
And there's like, they are so much like everyone else. They're overthinking things. They are anxious about stuff. And so I really like books that get into a guy's head.
We can do a whole episode on format and form,
Yeah, absolutely. We have to decide what ours is going to be.
Like you said, there's the back and forth. There's just single narrator, right?
Yeah.
There's Seuss style where everything has to rhyme. Like, can you imagine doing a full book of just...
Who would read that?
Couplets.
I wouldn't even want to read our book. But yeah, I mean, I like some elements of the Grumpy Sunshine as long as it's not pigeonholing somebody as one thing or the other. Because I think, just in our own relationship, we see how much
I'm the grumpy one. Yes, agreed.
Things ebb and flow with our own mental health.
My level of grumpiness does ebb and flow, yeah.
I mean, you are a little bit the self-proclaimed grump, but I think like it constantly changes, and there's sometimes like I feel like we're always trying to offset each other. Like if you're the grumpy, I try to, lighten it up a little, and vice versa when it's me that's more stressed or having the harder time. And so that's why I don't want to pigeonhole people.
Sweetheart, I can't even think of a time you were ever grumpy.
That's so sweet. So don't think too hard then. That's good. Okay. So another premise or trope would be a love bet or a challenge. You have a movie. There's so many movies.
I have a good one for you.
What?
It's kind of a twist on that. Like it's not super traditional, but Cruel Intentions.
Oh, yeah.
It's a love bet.
It is a love bet.
I didn't mean to lie to us.
It is. That's one of the first spicy movies we watched together. Oh, I love that. I was thinking books, but I also put She's All That. That was another kind of My Fair Lady,
I wrote Pygmalion, My Fair Lady, She's All That.
Yes,
same old.
Goes all the way back. Yeah, that's a super old trope, and
I'm not really into that one. I feel like it's a little too popcorn.
Well, and a little manipulative. Yeah,
I just don't think it aged very well.
Yeah,
that idea of
you
need to be somebody else.
You'd really have to do a twist on it now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've never been a huge fan of it, but I did love me some Cruel Intentions. That was a good one. An example I put in it, this one was a little bit of a twist. It's called This Summer Will Be Different by Carly Fortune. And it's this girl is going with her best friend out to her family's house on Prince Edward Island in Canada. And she tells her best friend, you cannot fall in love with my brother. So the challenge is don't fall in love with my brother. And of course she gets there early and then happens to meet him, but doesn't realize it's him.
Did we read this one?
No, I read this one by myself.
I started to read this one to me.
You about this one because I want to travel and visit Prince Edward Island.
That's what it was.
Beware, reader. The other danger of reading so much is you want to travel everywhere, because I love the settings where these authors put these books. And so I've learned, I just read a book, Remarkably Bright Creatures, that is set in the Pacific Northwest, Puget Sound. And I learned about the San Juan Islands. I didn't even know they existed. And so same thing with Prince Edward Island, just reading about that. It just makes me want to travel. Abby always writes about Minnesota. And
so do you feel like our book, or you enjoy more books that have more interesting settings like that?
I think so. I like when it's like I'm kind of learning about a place, or I get a real feel of like the vibe of a town or an area. But what's interesting is, I've told you before, my brain doesn't read and process super descriptive stuff. So I also I feel like it's a delicate line of like,
Do you feel like your brain's filling in the gaps? And
I start to picture it. But I like when they write about real places that exist, because I start marking it as I read. I'm like, oh, if we go visit Prince Edward Island, I really want to go to this, like, crab shack or whatever it is. And so it's fun for me because it kind of like helps me plan potential trips that we could go on. And so I do think that for our book, I would like to pick a setting where we can write about real places that exist, and real businesses. And yeah.
It feels like you have to really know a place to write about it.
Maybe. So we just need to travel. Can we write it off as a business expense?
Where's the book about Dallas?
Oh, well, I don't know. Maybe. There's some good stuff. But yeah, maybe like a city. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I do like that. And so I like when the setting is important to the story. And I like learning about Prince Edward Island. With this summer will be different. But anyways, so that was kind of an example of a challenge where the girl was challenged not to fall for the brother. And then she met him before she even knew who he was.
Well, you're talking about these small towns and stuff. And that's one of these other, I don't want to say tropes, premises, is a small town romance.
Oh, yeah.
And so there's a bazillion of these. It makes me think of
every
Hallmark movie of all time.
Right? Yeah, all the specials.
I also wrote down Sweet Home Alabama, where she
yeah.
goes back to her town. It's just another iteration of that. I'm not as crazy about that. I just, it has like it's a looking backward feel. The whole thing feels like it's looking backward, where I just don't think that's our vibe.
No, I agree.
Moving forward, look at this.
I agree. I will say a recent book that I read that had kind of a twist on this was Book People by Emily Henry. So it's a girl who lives in New York City who is she's an agent? I can't remember. There's lots of like book terms in this. It's Book People. So it's like publishing people. I think she's an agent and she wants to be an editor or something like that. But she meets with this guy who's Mr. Grumpy, and they have a bad first meeting and all that. And then she ends up going on a trip with her sister before her sister's going to have a baby to this like small town. I think it's like near like Asheville, North Carolina. I don't think it's a real town, but that's the area that it's set in. And she runs into the grumpy guy there, and come to find out, because she meets him in New York City and they have the bad book publishing meeting, whatever. But then she runs into him in this tiny town. And it comes, you find out that his family is just from there. Like it's plot stuff. But yeah, I get it. But it was a fun twist on this like small town romance, because that's where they like not meet, but like reconnect and get to know each other better. But they still have a love of the city. And so it was kind of a fun take on the small town romance. So I don't think it's where we're going to go with our book, but I did enjoy that one.
What if small towns like sci-fi and our characters get shrunk down and they live in a model?
Yeah, that kind of sci-fi is not. I just don't. Maybe when you write a book by yourself.
I know I have to throw all
your Star
spaghetti.
Trek and all your things.
Spaghetti.
I don't think that one stuck to the wall.
Oh.
Okay, what about Unexpected Love?
This is an easy one for me.
What?
Pretty Woman.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the idea wasn't that they originally were in love, but they fell in love.
That's a good one.
I don't know. That's a tough one.
Yeah.
That takes a lot of like writing talent, honestly, because you have to set it up perfectly, or else it's so telegraphed. Which these plots kind of should be. Like, they should be safe and warm and comforting. But
yeah, I do like the
a lot of art
idea of
there.
Maybe introducing somebody that you think is going to be like the love, the lead, the whatever, and it ends up being somebody else that was like a side character all along. That's an interesting
On the last page, you just reveal.
Yeah.
And I'm in love with Jim the whole time.
The last page.
The end.
And they lived happily ever after. A recent book I read that had something like this was Wedding People by Allison. I don't know if it's Spock or Spock. I should look that up. But It was really good. I will say the focus of the book was not so much like a rom-com aspect or even like the romance of it. It was more about this woman's journey and what she was going through. I really gravitate towards stuff like that. And I want our book to incorporate like not just like female empowerment, but just for the characters to really be focused in developing like a self-love and like independence as humans. You know, when I picture our characters, I think of them being older, like closer to our age, maybe like
older,
mid 30s, early 40s, you know, like I don't see us writing a story about like an early 20 something, you know, like I think
I can see that.
I want our people to be older. I want them to have had some life experience, and so I want an element of it to be about just learning to love themselves, learning to love their life, and like being in control of their own happiness, and then maybe choosing to share that with someone else. Because I think a lesson that you and I learned early in our relationship is like we can't count on each other to be responsible for each other's happiness. We really had to own that ourselves, and so like I would want our characters to do that as well. But
I think we learned that because we've been together so long. Like we've always just been together. So we didn't have that period of.
But it's something we've had to develop. Like
I know, that's what I'm saying.
To be independent.
So that makes me think of our characters. I'm thinking through the book. Sorry, I've got to finish that. So if our arc of finding our own happiness in that way came from us always being together, like what does that look like for characters in our book? Let's say, you know, like
their journey. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the wedding people are, just to go back to that one and how the unexpected love piece, like this woman, and I'm not giving anything away because it starts the book with this, but she shows up at this really nice hotel where she's rented the nicest room and she's there to commit suicide. And then she checks in and finds out there's a wedding happening and runs into the bride right away, who is upset that she has a room because the bride had intended to rent out the full place. And so it was like a mistake somehow. And she quickly tells the bride that she's like suicidal essentially. And the bride's just upset that that's going to ruin her wedding. And so that's kind of the way that this starts. But there is an unexpected love element. And
so like the Reese Witherspoon, Will Ferrell movie we just watched.
Oh, man. What was that called?
We Live in Time.
No, You're Cordially Invited. Now you remember the name.
Oh, is that right? Did I get it right?
Now you remember.
That's not even a running joke for this podcast. I mean, for the past week, I could not think of the name of that movie. But yeah, You're Cordially Invited.
Yeah. That was
wild ride.
Super wild ride. Like the first half of the movie felt totally different from the second half of the movie, but there were good elements.
I guess for us and consistency in the book too, like that helps us add guardrails, knowing like I don't want to get in that situation where somebody has to wrestle an alligator randomly to get something interesting to happen.
Literally wrestling an alligator in bed. Like what? Okay. Our final premise is an office romance, a boss employee. So I talked a little bit about Beautiful Bastard with Christina Lauren, but basically like you have two coworkers or like a boss employee relationship, developing feelings, workplace dynamic stuff.
Yeah, I have The Proposal, which I barely remember, with Bullock and Ryan Reynolds. But The Office, the actual Office, my favorite show. Like, I know it's not a movie or TV show.
Oh, it's like Jim and Pam. And like, there were several office romances. Yeah, true. Yeah, again, I have enjoyed books and movies with this like premise in it, but to me, I just don't want to write about work. Anytime it's reading, it's not just about like escaping work. It's like I just love living in someone else's world and meeting their friends and getting.
And you don't want to hear about them going to work every day.
Yeah, I don't want to be writing about the details of work. And then they had to attend this meeting where they presented on blah blah blah. Like, no.
I think from the narrative side, the office part of it presents certain challenges in pacing, right? Like, are they going to work every day? Like, you have to really think about why and how they would get together. So if they're going to meet at this big meeting on this date, there's just a lot of pacing and timing that needs to be right. And that just is not as exciting to me.
Structure brain again.
Yeah, just not as exciting to me as something that could be a little more free-flowing and purposeful because of the character's interests and or motivations versus more purposeful based on we have a meeting on Thursday.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So I'm kind of with you on that. That doesn't really resonate with me, the office piece of it. But I think, you know, I think for next episode, if we
Wait, before though,
oh, go ahead.
I have a question for you.
Oh gosh,
I want you
I'm
to
ready.
look over these premises,
Okay,
and I want
ready.
you to tell me your favorite movie, rom-com movie. Which one or ones would you say My Best Friend's Wedding falls under?
That
What are your thoughts on My Best Friend's Wedding?
don't get me
One of
started
the
on that movie.
greatest movies of the
No.
90s.
She is the number one villain of all time.
This is a hill Matt will die
I will
on.
die on this
Julia
hill.
Roberts.
Julia Roberts is the worst movie villain of all time in this film. She's a terrible person. She ruins people's lives, and she does it.
Maybe it was second chance romance.
No.
She just, her best
Awful.
friend was suddenly getting married and she realized she had feelings for him. And
We're
so
going to
she
sing the
had
song
to-
now?
Man, best soundtrack. Boy, I listened to
That's
that
fun.
soundtrack
Soundtrack
on
good.
repeat.
She's a
But
villain. That's
such a good movie.
walk
but
into a
I
trap.
made Matt watch it maybe a year or two ago, and he was so just angry when it was over. She's the worst person.
I
She
kept
is the
waiting
worst villain
for some
all
redeeming
time.
quality, but she was just the devil. She
Yeah.
worse than Devil Wears Prada. What's her face?
Meryl Streep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awful.
I don't know. Miranda. What's her name? Miranda Priestley? Is that her name in that movie?
Let me.
But Julia Roberts, Cameron Diaz. Oh man, Dermot Mulroney.
Great. Love those people.
Fantastic movie.
Character was the worst movie villain
She
of all
did do
time
some
to ever
bad stuff.
appear on a silver screen.
She
Or,
realized her errors and tried to make it right. And
she didn't really grow that much in that movie. It was mostly just.
There needs to be a sequel. You need to see her character.
Let's do a live watch along of that movie.
Oh,
we'll do a
Lord.
full.
That's a good one.
I'll make a bunch of notes for you if
Okay.
that makes you
I
happy.
love that movie. Okay, now you can talk about our next episode.
Well, no, I was just saying like we should have some homework for next episode. Like,
Oh,
you and
man,
I
just said I don't want to do work. Okay.
come up with a couple of based on some of these tropes, like just as this is building blocks or springboard, they don't have to match the things we talked about today. But like if we come with a couple of ideas for a plot, a general plot, and then we can just discuss it and we don't have to lock it down next time.
Yeah, like pick
but-
a premise or two
Yeah.
and just kind of pitch it.
Kind of pitch
like
that
as
there.
draft stuff.
Extra stuff. Because then once we pick something, of course, it's going to change
Yeah, then
completely
we can
as we
start
shape it. But
fleshing out characters and
yeah, I mean, we've talked already a bit about kind of writing what we know, and I think to me that's where my brain keeps hitting. Do we want this thing to be in Dallas or one of the places we travel frequently?
just like a safe place to start.
You
Yeah, I mean,
know.
there's places we've vacationed often enough that I feel like we could
For
write
sure.
about well.
For sure,
Or like I said, we could go on some research trips.
that's true. But I
Use it
also,
to the company credit card.
I don't want to front and say like we know everything about romance and love and relationships.
no.
We've really
It's like share what we've learned.
kind of been with each other and things. And I think that's important for us to share that's a unique perspective to me.
Yeah.
It's not like a limiting perspective.
For sure.
And so,
I think
yeah,
it's a safe space to start of like writing what we know. But okay, bring one or two premises with a
sentence to something.
small outline.
Just,
Okay, I'm gonna
maybe 2 or 3 bullet
pitch.
points.
I'm ready.
And we'll start narrowing it down. Because I'm sure we're going to start to, I like this or
I
this
mean,
thing. I
even
like
just
that
now,
other
like
thing.
we figured out we have some favorites for sure.
Yeah, things we like and don't
Things
like.
we definitely don't. I think it's important to know what we don't like as
Mm-hmm.
much as we do.
So, yeah, we'll do that next week.
In the meantime, go to
yeah.
Instagram and follow us on Our Next Chapter Pod.
It's true.
Please share the podcast with everyone you love.
We do need ratings right now.
Yes,
Early on, the ratings will actually
Very
appear in
important.
places. So
very
that's
important. So if I'm not sure if you're familiar with a pyramid scheme, but if each one of you will just send this to 3 people that you know and love
Mhm.
and rate it and ask them to rate it and share it with people they know and love,
okay. I
that's
like
how we'll
this.
take over the world.
I like this.
with
And everybody send me $1.
Love and
$1
romance.
each.
But yes, Our Next Chapter Pod. Catch us on the next episode where we start to pitch some ideas and pick a direction for our book.
That's
Thanks for listening. And this is where we play our outro, right?
Yeah, the outro goes
A
here.
little bit of our wedding. No. Oh, settled on our wedding song.
We could have Jackson play something.
Oh, our little piano player son.
All right. Till next time.
Till next time. Love you.
I love you too.